that tracks you from birth to death.
Sure.
So that when you are born, you get into the system. When you die, automatically you get kicked. And there have been a lot of frameworks and discussions about that interagency.
Yeah.
And now we hear Huduma number, there is another number, there is also many things. Why is that? Why hasn't that worked? And we are one government.
The first thing is that personally I'm a believer that there should be one system that tracks, as you say. But I think one of the reasons is that probably different administrations come with different priorities. And government is a going concern. And to me, that is an issue that should actually be addressed because the data is there. It's a question of bringing the data together and making sure that the data has everything. And then you have one particular identification of a person with one identification number. I also believe and think that it's also where the voter register should be drawn from. So that once you are registered at birth, the minute you attain the age of 18, then automatically you become a voter. The only separation is that there should be API address between the citizen data and the voter register, so that IEBC is able then after that to disintegrate that data to fit the use that they want to use for elections, because a voter will actually be identified in a particular polling station. So there should be integration of data between the voter register and the IPRS, the host, the people who host the citizen data. And I know it's possible because OLPP have integrated between IPRS and the membership register of political parties. We are in the process of integrating with the voter register of IEBC. So it's possible. When we say that we shall have one, but the register also should be separated. But once you register through an IPI address, you get into this data and also get into another data. And it has been done in other countries, so I think it's possible to do that.
It is possible to do that. If you are successful and you become a member of the IEBC, tell the members here 2 strategies that you can employ and that you can employ to ensure that integration of data is introduced at IEBC and linked with all the others, so that every Kenyan that is eligible becomes automatic voter at 18.
The first strategy is actually building public trust for IEBC, because the reason why sometimes citizens are hesitant and they think that that cannot happen is because they think that maybe somebody will interfere with that. We need to work all as government to ensure that
Visa's AI protection checks more than 500 data points on transactions. So you can be the risk-taking, recipe-inventing chef you want to be without worrying about the risk of fraud.
Form ikijipa, mimi nani. Now it's time to get extreme ice fresh. Ukiwa fresh all day, una stay fresh all night. Niki step onto the seed, na nikiona painting, shajua rada. Kona bro, be a vast man. Be your own man. Ukiwa your own man, unakaa fiti na una smell even better. Be your own man with new Vassman Extreme Ice.
One end here. So that in the final analysis, we all come out together as one, because really we are talking about the same citizen. And the data that we are addressing is actually coming from the same citizen. So public engagement and building public trust becomes the first strategy from where I am coming from.
Thank you very much, Madam Nderitu, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Karibu, I want to invite FCPA Tanui to ask you some questions. FCPA, please.
Thank you, Chair. And Madam RPP.
Yes, sir.
Is RPP a public officer or a state officer?
He's a state officer.
State officer.
Yeah.
In our advert, we indicated that a state officer or a state officer or someone who holds a state office is not eligible for appointment.
Yeah, and
as a member of the commission.
Okay.
So you are still, as you stand now, you are the RPP. I
am.
So you are a state officer.
I am.
So are you eligible?
Yes, I'm eligible because your advertisement said appointment. Here, you are not appointing me. So there's a process of appointment. When it reaches that process of appointment and I qualify, then I should resign. Appointment is different from attending an interview. Because I'm a Kenyan. Because I want to ask, even a public officer who is holding, and there are many who have come before you, they are holding other jobs. The rules would be applied across. So I think the question here is appointment. And should I qualify to reach that level of appointment? I will relinquish.
So should we forward a name to the president for somebody who is not eligible?
No, but that time I should be told that I'm eligible. But I'm about to be appointed. Then that one I will release. Because how can you really resign from a job just because you just want to apply? I don't think it will be
what
fair.
I'm saying, we are supposed to, you can see our title there.
Yeah.
We are to select, selection panel for the recruitment of nominees for appointment.
Yes.
Those who are qualified.
Yes.
So we'll be forwarding names to the president for consideration.
Yes.
So even at that point when you are forwarding a name of Anne Derito Simon, who is holding a state office, then are we doing justice to the president for forwarding a name that is not eligible?
But the president has the leeway to appoint.
No, I'm saying us as a panel, in terms of our mandate. Because we are supposed to forward names of people who are qualified and eligible for appointment. So that the president now, when he'll be checking, then he'll say, qualified, eligible, I can
But when you are forwarding names, at that point still, I think the appointment has not happened. Yeah, because you are not the appointing authority. You are just forwarding names.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can move on. Now, first of all, let me commend you for having obtained a clean audit report as
Thank you.
accounting officer.
Yeah.
It's not a mean feat, but congratulations.
Thank you.
So let me ask you, what are the, can I call them the secrets or the reason behind your clean report? And noting that IEBC has actually been having qualified reports, and also noting that you will not be the accounting officer, there will be an accounting officer.
Sure.
But how will your experience as an accounting officer help the Commission in obtaining a clean report in terms of annual audit?
The first, let me answer the first question. What is the secret? First of all, I have a very, very good team, and a team is built. A team does not come from nowhere. It is built. I built a very vibrant, good team. The whole of the staff of OLPP, the people who have been served by them can attest that we have built a team. And that teamwork help people to do their part without really struggling. And once you build a team, you support the team. And then you follow the law and the principles that are read. And they are there in the Constitution, PFM Act. If you follow them, then you are going to get clean report, because your interest is to make sure that you give service, and then you are doing the right thing. And I have a passion of wanting to do the right thing. So we have also won awards, like 4 of them in the 6 years I've been there, the FIRE Awards. What will I do as an oversight? The first thing is that the Commission is formed in committees. I know one of the committees is on procurement, things to do with procurement. So if I'm a member of the procurement committee, is to ensure that rules and regulations and the act, the laws read is followed. And you keep checking whether the team that is working in procurement are following the law. Secondly, is the framework of reporting. because sometimes the staff may be down, they are frustrated, they don't know what to do, they don't know what needs to be done, and they are probably in a problem. So I think the first thing is also to create an open door and a kind of exchange between the staff and the commissioners, and the commission really in general through the CU. So that should there be any issue that need to be addressed and help that is needed, then it is able to do that. So I think the most important thing is the framework and making sure that you are in touch with what is happening through the oversight committee of procurement. This also should be a proper procurement plan and ensure that the timelines are very clear and they are followed according to the letter, and you are able to support them. Should there be any issue, then it is canvassed before it goes out of hand. And then it is also timeliness of activities, because the reason why some procurement problems arises is because activities come too late in the day. The procurement manager is left with no option, and you need that service. And I can remember in 2013, because I've been bombers for the longest. I've been in election now for, I think, 16 years. In bombers 2013, when suddenly a matter happens and then you need a helicopter. And it's one of the issues that have taken some people to court. The lack of anticipating risks and planning, so that you plan for the risks and you mitigate risk, and you see, you just do a plan. So that by the time you are doing it, you don't put the procurement person in problems. Because today, an incident will happen when we are transport. And I want to remember that incident when we had to transport some ballot papers in the night. We don't have we have not procured a helicopter. We have not done. We don't have transport to do that. What does the procurement manager do? He will, because it's a national crisis, he will do that and provide you with a helicopter. What happened after that is that the auditor will be on the procurement manager. You never followed the process. While we say he made the decision for purposes of a process to move on in a country, then he's accused of not following procurement law. I think one of the issues is procurement plan and a proper risk mitigation plan. You identify the risk, you give the risk owners, and then you plan how the risk and the gaps that can be there. Then you shall have less problems.
Thank you. And lastly, there is a designation that I've seen you using in your social platform, Dr. Anne. Mm-hmm. Explain to us that doctorate.
Doctorate is an honorary. It's honorary that I was given by one of the universities in London. It's honorary. Yeah.
Thank you. Wish you well, Anne.
Yes.
And back to you, Chair.
Thank you. I now come to Misati.
Thanks so much,
Misati
Chair.
confessed that he can only call you registrar.
Yeah. You know the relationship.
Yeah. I must confess here that, Madam Registrar, we work together, me as the chair of the political parties. As the regulator of the political parties, we interact on a day-to-day basis. Let that be on record. But nevertheless, Madam Registrar, you have said, now I cannot ask you questions of your commitment, the way you have said. Now, as a CEO of ORPP or registrar of political parties, you make executive decisions.
Yeah.
How are you going to manage when you have issues you want to, you are passionate about making it? I've seen your 4 transformative process that you have done in ORPP. You are doing that. I'm sure the success was because you were the executive director. Mm-hmm. Now, how will you manage the dynamics of the boardroom where there are other commissioners? So you intend to do something, you cannot do it through an executive as an individual. So how will you make sure that whatever you want to do, you can be able to do it, but with that dynamics of when you are transiting from executive to the other board?
Okay, thank you so much. I said earlier, one of my greatest strengths is teamwork, building teams. Number one, I'm a team player myself. So it will be very easy to work in a team because I believe a commission is a team. And I am very good in negotiation. If I want something done, I'm articulate. I will actually talk about it and also negotiate that it should be done. So it will not be very difficult to work in a team. I am also, in my own right, if you see documents, I'm an expert in corporate governance. I've done many courses in corporate governance. And one of the issues that probably I'm thinking is very important in IEBC is corporate governance. Once there's clear path of corporate governance, who reports to who and who need to do what, I'm able to approach the people who are supposed to do what need to be done from an oversight perspective, because I believe nutrition is as good as the way the teams are harnessed together and they are working together to make, because the win is not for an individual, it's because of people working together. Even at OLPP, I don't think I act as I'm the one. I'm just one among equals leading a team that is delivering a mandate. So the way that I do at OLPP working with the teams is the same way that I will be a team member and have the team spirit to make things happen. And of course, I'm very respectful to people, people's skills. I will talk to them.
Thanks so much. And now, you remember when we were doing, this is a case study, when we were doing the issues of regulations of nomination of political parties. Mm-hmm. I can attest here that some of the items you reached and said you pushed the park to IEBC. Yeah. Now you are here. If you are going to be part on the other side, mm-hmm. what will you do different? Because now that you will not be pushing the park. Remember, I will come with political parties. We want to be very harsh on you, but you will say the premise on IEBC. Now you are looking for that.
For nomination?
If you find favor and you are the IEBC commissioner, mm-hmm. what will you do specifically?
I'll actually do what the law would expect me to do. That's the first thing. Two, it's not even us who pushed, it's actually the courts. You remember we had put, during the reform, we had said issues of nominations, we can regulate a few of the issues of nomination. The court referred us to Article 88, 4D, and told us that onus is on IEBC. And that at that point, then we could not proceed. So we put it aside and referred it to IEBC on regulation of party nomination. However, you remember that party nominations are also an activity of a political party, which the registrar should be able to supervise, as according to the Political Parties Act. So we were left with elements of supervisory that are left now in the Act, but that particular regulations was left. So when I go on the other side, the plan that I had now will be carried out there, which the court told me, hold. It's not yours, take it back to IEBC. So it's just renovatively coming up and looking at the laws that we had proposed that should happen then, and then making sure that then they go on the other side. So we shall still use the law as part of the team.
The last question, as a follow-up question. Mm-hmm. As the registrar, you have been convening parties, mm-hmm. political parties, and where we have been participating in public participation. And we have been asking ourselves a question regarding the voter registration. Yeah. And you realize that we have been getting a stalemate because we could not move. Yeah. Now, what legal reforms in terms of either regulations or other electoral reforms will you propose to cure that problem?
Come again. Sorry, I missed.
What electoral or legal reforms mm-hmm. will you propose? Particularly, maybe is it in the regulations so that we'll be able, so that IEBC can continue doing continuous voter registration. Mm-hmm. You know the struggle we have been having with political parties. Mm-hmm. And as we talk here, mm-hmm. The 90 registered political parties mm-hmm. are going to be clients or key stakeholders where you have been regulating them. Yeah. This time you are going to be a stakeholder. Yeah. A delivery. Mm. So they also are asking, what will be the difference?
One, in terms of ensuring continuous voter registration, I think the mandate of IEBC is continuous voter registration. It's only that there was a gap in terms of, and I cannot really start for them whether is the right thing not to continue with voter registration, because personally I believe that voter registration is continuous, and that's a constitutional mandate. Where the Gazette notice come in terms of that we cannot continue with voter registration is a statutory, which stems from the Constitution. So one word as which is higher, is it the Constitution or the regulation? Because this is a regulation that requires a Gazette notice. But the Constitution gives the mandate of IEBC as continuous voter registration in Article 88. To me, I think the best thing is to just set the parameters going immediately after the commissioners are appointed, so that voter registration become continuous. We usually have the mass registration, but any Kenyan who want to register, just like we do in OLPP, if you want to register a member of a political party, you register any time. I think that should be the operations of the Electoral Commission, that Kenyans can register as voters. So the best thing is to set the framework and to set the ball rolling for voter registration.
Thanks so much, Madam Registrar, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to invite Fatuma to ask you a question.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Registrar, it's good to meet again.
Thank you so much, Madam.
I must say it was very inspirational when we started work at the tribunal.
Sure.
The imagination of finishing more than 300 cases within a span of 3 weeks.
Sure.
You reassured us that this work is doable and gave us the support.
Sure.
And we ended up listening to all those cases and resolving them.
Sure.
And we really got inspired. So I must confess to the team that I've seen you hands-on with your work.
Sure.
So when it comes to stakeholder engagement, you've also partially talked about it. How would you engage development partners and still maintain, if you are to become a member of the IEBC, how would you be able to strategize in such a way that we are able to benefit from the development partners, but at the same time maintain your independence as an institution? Yeah.
Thank you. First of all is to say that the first partnership policy of IEBC came from myself, a team that I read to make the partnership policy. So I'm aware that the partnership policy of IEBC have a very good framework on how to engage donors. So you can only engage donors, and not only donors, other stakeholders, through a framework, and then through written MOUs, ensuring that it is very clear what has been put in the memorandum of understanding, what is the part that the donor should do, and what the Electoral Commission should do. That means that there's always a demarcation on what a donor cannot do, meaning you put the line so that the donors, as they come and we onboard them, they are very clear, this is what you can do. For example, there are certain issues that are specifically for Kenyan government to fund, because it's a national duty for Kenyan government to fund. That means every time that we are entering into a MOU, you must protect what the Commission is, what belongs to the Commission. A partnership is for mutual benefit. You must be very sure that you are benefiting from that arrangement. So for donors, there are also other agreements that are there, and international foreign policy of our country. You know, donors in this country also must also comply to the foreign policy and the foreign affairs guidelines. And therefore, I must work also with Foreign Affairs Ministry so that we are very clear what are the rules, because we are in the same country, so that the Foreign Affairs Ministry can guide where we are not clear. But mainly speaking, you manage them through a memorandum of understanding and round table meetings to clarify what is it that they are doing, and also reports, make sure that they are proper reporting once an activity has been concluded, and from that report you have lessons learned, you keep improving from every time that you do that. And it should be clear what is it that they are doing. And I can tell you, because I worked in partnership department for 5 years, I'm very clear that I know how how clearly you engage through written memorandums and round table and continuous evaluation of the projects that they are involved in, and looking at the laws of Kenya and ensuring that the foreign policy of this country is also followed.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Chair.
I now invite Nicodemus Bore to ask you some questions.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Registrar, as I join Misati in calling you the name because we also work together in...
I appreciate.
Yes, the Political Parties Liaison Committee is a tripartite platform where ORPP, the political parties, and IEBC have a platform to engage. One of the complaints that the political parties have been having is the lack of involvement by IEBC in its engagement as they plan for the elections. I would wish to know from you if, because you have worked with the political parties of Kenya, how will you engage the political parties in the planning of the elections if you manage to become an IEBC commissioner?
First of all, it's important to note that our political parties liaison committee is in law, so there's no escape. That you say that it's a choice whether you want to engage the political parties liaison committee or not. What is important is coming up with a framework again, especially at that level of the commission, to really categorically look at the issues that you need to engage political parties on. And I think one of the issues, and I will tell you because you have been in the political process of IBC, is not only political parties, but engagement of its stakeholders. And I think that is one of the issues that need to be looked into, engaging stakeholders. Even when a change happens, stakeholders should be informed this is what we are about, and change management should be done. So I think one of the issues for political parties form key and the key stakeholders, because without political parties, really, we don't have candidates, and you run elections because they are candidates that have been presented. Just by the last elections, political parties presented over 11,000 candidates, so you cannot ignore such as stakeholders. And because there's a framework of political parties liaison committee, then IBC, OLPP, and political parties need always to come together and consult on silent matters that can affect political parties, so that they are not ambushed by processes. Once we do a thing, then political parties need to be engaged. We can even go beyond PPLC, engage other cadres of political party officials and all that. And I don't have to belabor the point that you know that what we do. Every time when we make a comma in our document or anything, we always call political parties, including funding. We get funding, we are supposed to administer, we call you. Can you check the formula that we have used? I think that kind of consultation is what builds public trust. And we can go back there to public trust. When I was in IIC, I know for sure there's a time we even passed the media. We were at 65% public confidence. And then later we dived to where probably we are today, or even before. Voter turnout in 2013 was 86%. Last election was 64%. Why are Kenyans running away from the electoral process and its democracy? So therefore, I think we shall engage political parties as key stakeholders.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Let me invite Professor to ask you some questions. Prof, please.
Yes, Madam ORPP.
Yes, Professor.
The ORPP has often been accused as being the subject of political interference and advancing certain political interests, in particular on matters relating to the registration and leadership of political parties. Are these allegations true? And if there are, how suitable would you be to hold the position of IEBC Commissioner, as it would raise an integrity test?
First of all, those allegations are untrue, and I thank you because we have called them allegations. They are totally untrue. ORPP is one of the most non-partisan institutions. And actually, you cannot be partisan with 91 political parties. Like currently, we have 91 political parties. Which one do you prefer against the other? It is not possible to be partisan because all of you belong to you. You are the one who have registered them. You are the one regulating them. You have completely no interest. Registration of political parties, we have continued. Since I joined OLPP, I've registered more than 30 political parties. I meant when the register had 63, we are now at 92. Is there partisanship there? No, we have given Kenyans parties as the register. The only thing, you must fulfill the criteria of registration. You must obey the law. Some of our clients come thinking there's a shortcut to registration of a political party. There's a shortcut to recruitment of members. When they find that the recruitment must be vigorous, you must contract every Kenyan to join your party, then that allegation can come along. We are not partisan. We currently have about 30 political parties that are undergoing registration at various stages, though you cannot be partisan. In terms of party leadership, I do not think we get involved in the business of party leadership. If you look at our amendment of 2022, before the general elections, we categorically put it mandatory. For a matter to leave a political party, it must go through the internal dispute resolution mechanism. Once you exhaust, that's the only time you can come to complain to registrar, to investigate the complaint, or you can move to PPDT. And any time a political party comes to us without exhausting the internal mechanism of a political party, we always return them back to the party. So really we are not partisan. If we make any decision, we make those decisions based on the law and facts presented by the political party. And any time you make a decision, there's an expectation that one side may be affected by your decision and may be dissatisfied by that decision. So we are not partisan. Our issue is that we look at the law, the facts presented, and we go by that when we make decisions. And once we make decisions, there's an appeal process. People can go to court. And 99% of those court cases that go to court, we have indicated the court majority of the time agree with us.
Thank you. My last question. There are currently legislative proposals before Parliament that arose from the NADCO process that touch on the ORPP.
Yeah.
Could you comment on those proposals, and if you have already made comments on the same, what are they, and therefore your recommendations, your office's recommendations?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. I think the main legislation that touches on OLPP, there's a bill, an article bill on Political Parties Amendment Act 2024. That bill specifically, majorly, proposes to transition the Office of Registrar of Political Parties from a single member-led institution to a multi-member-led institution. That means you are changing it from an independent office to an independent commission, which is a regulatory commission. That bill went to Senate. The original bill, the one that Senate took to public participation, had numerous gaps from where we sit as a practitioner. And we make our comment. We made our comment, we made the lobbying, we told everyone what is wrong with that bill. It passed the way it was. One of the issues that was a problem, the bill was proposing a commission that had no criteria of recruitment. You don't know how the recruitment will be done. There's no qualification, there's no disqualification, there's no manner in which that commission shall transact business. There was actually just a commission dropped there without any parameters. So one of the issues that we had required to be corrected is that to form a body and make sure that it's something that can work. The other issue that we had a problem with, that there were no transitional clauses that was transitioning the political parties from OLPP to the Regulatory Commission. There was no transition for the staff that was transitioning the staff from the OLPP now to the Regulatory Commission. And one of the disturbing one is that the bill had removed regulatory powers from the regulatory commission. So it's a regulatory commission, but with no powers of regulating. So we raised quite a number of issues, and I am happy to report majority of those issues. I can say 75% Senate took them on board. So the bill that have now been presented to the National Assembly and a public participation has already been called by the National Assembly has taken all our issues, including party records, including how parties continue, the continuity, the going concern of the institution. But there are still a few gaps which we have actually raised in public participation of the National Assembly, and we hope they are going to call us for a further explanation. But basically speaking, one of the still graying is that the regulatory powers have not been returned to the Regulatory Commission.
Any reason why you think it wasn't returned, while all the others were taken on board?
Because I saw the bill, that's why I'm saying it was never returned. Yeah, I actually have no idea why it's not returned. Yeah, because it's a regulatory. You see, the title is Regulatory Commission. Then the regulatory powers are removed from Section 33.
Thank you, Chair.
Please proceed and ask the two questions.
Yeah, Madam Registrar, you have been in the, I can say, insider. Inside IEBC, inside ORPP. So I'll ask you a specific question on the political party history of this country.
Yeah.
That Kenya, after the banning of KPU in 1969, became a de facto one-party state.
Yeah.
And in 1982, Kenya became a de jure one-party state.
Sure.
What triggered the ruling party to make Kenya a de jure one-party state?
It became a de jure one-party state because of my own assessment. Is because of the threat of 1982 when there was a attempted coup. Probably the administration then felt the country would be so divided when they had so many political parties. We needed to queue first to check in that matter which was at hand that particular time, and therefore consolidate our democracy and gain, and probably protect the leadership of the day that was. I think that was probably could have been one of the reasons why it became like that. And also, all the time, I think even when it was de facto, there was still that feeling that unity under one political party to create more unity and all that. There was a perception, which I think it's a perception, that more parties are actually going to divide Kenyans into tribal balkanization, which sometimes happens. I think that is probably what informed.
Thank you. I also know from your work that you are a promoter of gender affirmative action.
Very true. Inclusivity.
Who was the first female member of parliament in Kenya?
Somebody Anyango.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the first name.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Anne. We have come to the end of our interview. I'd like to invite you to make any comment or question, if you like. Please.
Thank you. I think I have really no question, but only to thank the panel for the candid discussion. Indeed, it is a discussion, and thank you for having me, and wishing you all the best with the rest. I know it's a tough job, interviewing, sitting down for that long, and but I wish you well, even as you continue with your work. But I have no question, really.
Thank you for coming. We have learned from you, from your work, and from your reading through your application, and we wish you well, and blessings to you.
Thank you.
You have a notebook there. You can carry it, and some bottle of water.
Thank you.
Thanks, please.
Asante.
Your certificates will be somewhere at the door as you walk out. Yes, you find them. Thank you. Thank you very much, members of the Fourth Estate. That marks the end of our interviews today. Once again, thank you. We will resume on Tuesday at 8:30 in the same place. Thank you. And those of you who will be celebrating Eid al-Fitr, please have a wonderful Eid al-Fitr. Thank you very much.